Hello friends, welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. The temperatures have finally started to drop here in the Ozark Mountain region, so it's time to start preparing the house for some of those cozy winter days at home. One of the main ways that we heat our house in the winter is with our giant fireplace, and we've had to become accustomed to actually cooking on it too. During the winter here, there's always one thing that's never certain, is if you're going to be able to get out of your house for a couple of days. We don't get a lot of snow like we were used to up in the Chicago area, but we do get gnarly ice storms down here. The ice storms will knock out our power for a couple of days. It's been known to actually keep it out for a couple of weeks. It freezes the water pipes. There's often times where you don't have running water, you don't have power, and with the road conditions, how they are, they're very uphill and winding, and it's almost impossible to drive on it. During these storms, we actually can't even get out of our driveway. Our driveway is uphill, so we can't even walk down it. So since living here, we make sure, especially during these coming winter months, we make sure that we're prepared and that we have quite a stockpile of food that we can actually access with no electricity. We make sure we have plenty of firewood, and we just try to be as prepared as we possibly can. Now, there is no storm right now, and we're not currently stuck in our house, but we will know a couple days in advance if there is a possibility of that, and usually I will be really, really busy prepping to make sure that my family can be cooped up and we have everything we need for a couple of days. In preparation of having to cook on the fire here shortly, we went ahead and kind of rigged up a stove in our fireplace. I got my husband it's like a metal rack that you can put on top of the fire. It's in the camping section at a lot of stores, but I got this for him a couple years ago, and the legs on it weren't very tall. So I went ahead and we got some cinder blocks from outside, and we propped it up a little higher so the fire can be under it and we can better control the fire and how much of a flame is going to be on it. We also do have a hanging hook in our fireplace so we can put pots and hang them above the fire, but I actually don't have one of the pot lids that's compatible with the hanging hook. So that's on my to-do list, is to find one of those. I'm sure one of the thrift stores in the area will have something like that. If not, I know that there's temporary things I can do and order from Amazon, so we'll kind of just have to see. But for now, we have rigged up just a little stove in our fireplace. You can see it right there, and it actually ended up working out perfectly. We were really low on some sandwich bread, so I have that rising for its first rise right next to the fire. And then I threw on a pot of turkey chili. As you can see, the fire is kind of in the middle, so we do work on spreading that out more. We have a giant fireplace. It's kind of hard to tell from the video, but it is huge. So we did spread it out, and then it is double-sided, but to control the flame a little more, we did close the side that's on the living room. And then in the living room, there's little slots above it that we can open and let in some heat. So there was still heat throughout the house, and it did keep it very warm, but it was just easier to control that way. If you've been here for a while, you will know that I occasionally like to challenge myself and do a really cheap grocery budget for the week. We are a family of 6, and if you are doing any grocery shopping in this day and age, you will know how expensive groceries are. It has just become absolutely insane. Usually, if I am buying groceries without, household things and stuff, it is very easy to get to about $300 a week for us. However, I really try to not do that as often as possible. I also do try to make a lot of our meals from scratch or almost scratch, and that includes snacks. We are a homeschool family, so my kids are here during the day. They eat lunches here, breakfast and dinner, and then their snacks as well. So that is $300, and a lot of it is not processed usually. There are some snacks and stuff like that that I will get for them, but I do also limit those to make them stretch. So this week is actually one of those weeks. It is going to be a very cold week, and I'm challenging myself a bit further to try to do as many meals as I can on the fire. One of the things, this is just an extra that I'm making right now. It is not a meal. It is buffalo chicken dip. My family loves this. They can eat it with veggies or crackers or chips. I got this from a family member, and every time she was just in town, and every time she leaves town, that is like the one thing that I'm like, oh, I need to make that. I think I make it every single time she has like just been here because it is so good. It is one of my favorites. I love dipping celery in it, and the celery actually I always put some in it, and it is so good. I don't really have exact measurements. I definitely make this recipe just from my heart, but I will do my best and put an about recipe down below. Just know that it is very much measured with my heart, and you can absolutely do the same. I will also put our meal plan for the week down below in the description box too, but a couple of recipes that I'm hoping to cook on the fire this week is Dutch oven pizzas. I want to roast chicken and veggies, and then I'm going to make some kind of soup or stew. So I'm thinking like a hamburger soup or maybe a veggie stew. I'm not sure quite yet. And then I also want to try making southern noodles. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I love making southern noodles on the stove, but I have never done that on the fire. However, it makes a huge quantity, and my family really enjoys them, so I'm hoping that I can actually do that. But I will be trying to cook most of our meals this week on the fire. So if you're interested in how that turns out, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can follow along. Now, I know I have been talking your ear off this entire video about food and cooking on the fire, but I also did post all of our Christmas decor in this video because I wanted it to be a really great reminder that you do not have to go out and get a ton of new things. Christmas can be very simple and still very beautiful. A lot of the things that I posted in my Christmas videos are things that I already owned or that I purchased very minimally. The greenery here on my mantle is from my yard. I got 50% off berries and bells from Hobby Lobby. I used ribbon that we already had. I did buy some new ribbon this year, but again, it was at Hobby Lobby and it was 50% off. So a lot of this stuff is stuff that I already owned. And I just see so many of the Decorate for Christmas with Me videos, and I just wanted to remind you that you don't have to go out and buy all those things for you to have a beautiful Christmas. You can put very cheap bows on pictures, swap them out for very simple but beautiful artwork that you download, like winter artwork, and then put a bow on it. It is just classic, and I love the simplicity of everything that we put up this Christmas. So that's why I just wanted to share it with you. We had a lot of guests over this past week. And at first, especially if you haven't seen my house before at Christmas, it can kind of seem like a lot, like I do a lot or I've bought a lot. And that is absolutely not the case. So again, I just wanted to throw that reminder out and show you what a simple but really beautiful and just cozy house can look like at Christmas, and remind you that you don't have to go and get those things. Another thing that I like to do around Christmas time is incorporate my Christmas decor with my normal everyday decor. I know a lot of other YouTubers will switch out and do like a whole haul and switch out all their decor. I really try to avoid that. We have plants, we have everyday decor, and I just try to minimize that all and make my life a lot easier, especially around this time of year where you're getting out so much stuff. So I will incorporate little Christmas things in with everyday things, and that is just something that I do that is so simple, and my kids still very much enjoy the simplicity of it, but they get excited when they see the Grinch out, and that little wicker chair we always refer to as the Grinch's throne, but the rest of the year I actually have a plant that sits on that. So we just kind of move things around and repurpose the stuff that we already have and just add a little bit of Christmas color or Christmas decor to it to make it special for us. So the chili was just about done and was about to be taken off of the fire. And because I am keeping our budget very minimal this week, I will have to total up exactly how much we spent, but I think it's actually below $100, which is insane because, I mean, eggs themselves are $20. So it's wild. But again, I'm not sure if that's the exact number. I'll have to actually look at my receipts, but because I didn't get really snacks or anything like that, I am going to make what I have made a million times on my channel, and it is a Swedish apple pie. It is very easy. I already had all the ingredients, and it needs very minimal ingredients. So I'm not going to put the recipe in the description box below because, like I said, I have made this so many times, but you can find it on probably a million of my videos in the description box if you would like to make it. But I am going to attempt it for the first time actually on the fire, and it does turn out, so I was pretty excited about that, and the kids were really excited to have some apple pie after dinner. As you can see, I just thinly sliced some apples. I did like 5, 6, 7 is a really good amount, especially if they're like medium or small, which is what mine were. You'll do a couple teaspoons of sugar, a couple teaspoons of cinnamon, and a couple teaspoons of vanilla. You'll stir that up, and then you put on a crust that is, I think it's similar to a sugar cookie. My family goes back and forth with that. If it's not a pie crust and it's not a cake, but I feel like it's like a sugar cookie. I don't know. But anyway, they really enjoy it with a scoop of vanilla ice cream or a drizzle of caramel. They eat it warm also, which they have ate it cold too. So it really doesn't matter. This is one of my family's favorites, and it cooked beautifully on the fire. So now I know moving forward that if we are without power, I can cook this dessert for my family. This crust is super simple. It is a cup of flour, I believe, a cup of sugar, and melted butter, and an egg. Again, I have done this recipe a million times, so if you want those exact measurements, they are under a ton of my other videos. But it does make a thick, almost cookie-like texture for the dough, and you just kind of have to smash that onto the top of the apples. I don't even worry about covering all of my apples. I leave some exposed and they kind of bubble up, and it is really quite delicious. After I put dessert on the fire, I went ahead and started plating up dinner. Again, it was just the turkey chili, and then I served it with some homemade bread that you saw rising earlier next to the fire. My family loves the homemade bread with some strawberry jam, so that's usually what I put on the table with it. I love making huge pots of chili because the leftovers from chili can be used in so many different ways. I love making chili breakfast burritos for the freezer, and that's something that my husband and my kids absolutely love. It's one of their favorite things that I prep for the freezer. I also do plan this week to make like potato, cheese, chili. I don't even know what it's called, but that's kind of what I'm going to do on the fire as one of our meals. Is I'll just do potatoes like diced up, cheese, chili, and some veggies, and that will be a meal. We were gifted one of these puzzle advent calendars, and this is, although I've seen them in the store, this is the first time we've ever gotten one. I believe it's 42 pieces each day until Christmas, and my kids were actually more excited than I thought they would be to do them. So they were sitting together, and my husband came over too. He was pretty excited also, and they're putting those together. The pie was done, so I'm taking it off of the fire. The only thing I think I would do differently is it came out tasting great, but I left the lid on, and I probably should have taken that off halfway for it to crisp up on top a little bit more. But other than that, it turned out really good. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.